Hi, we're in Encinitas. We're also in my backyard. So if you happen to hear a bunch of kids playing or a plane go by, that's proof that it's real. Today we're going to be talking about Leonardo da Vinci in comedy. Comedy was really important in Leonardo's life. He wasn't just an artist, and we all know that creativity doesn't stop at art. He was a great painter and a sculptor, but he also was a great architect, a great mathematician, a chemist, a cartographer, a biologist. The list goes on. He was good at music too. Can you imagine what a Da Vinci song would sound like? He'd compose them. In fact, he was so popular with his music, he was invited to many parties. The dukes and duchesses just had to have him there. He was great socially. He also was good looking. He was 6 foot tall. We were told that he wore the best costume, the best outfits, and he was good with a turn of story. In other words, he was good with comedy. I was very lucky when I was in college to have the opportunity to study at Second City. Now, Second City was a place that most Saturday Night Live actors came out of. It was the #1 improvisational teaching theater in the U.S. for many years. And when I went on to New York City to be an advertising guy on Madison Avenue, I started my own improvisational company that I would do at night while I did advertising during the day. The name of that group was called Short Order Theater, and we played at Caroline's, we played at the Comic Strip, and our home was the Comedy Cellar, where we would perform every weekend for 7 years, although we would study a lot more, because improvisational comedy is tough. The #1 rule in improv is called yes and. Let me tell you how the yes and story works. If you're on stage and somebody says something, something in your brain is saying no but, no but. I'll bring you on stage and show you how that works. Let's do a no but improvisational bit. 2 guys on a stage, and we get a location from the audience. They yell out, bank. Okay, great, bank. And okay, who are we? And they go, you're robbers and you've just robbed the bank. Great, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, here are 2 robbers that just robbed a bank. All right, let's get in the car. And your partner over there says, why don't we go in the boat? Because the boat's better. No, let's get in the car. The car's right there. The boat's all the way down at the dock. We'll get in the car, we'll take off. You know, people in cars get caught. So why don't we go down to the boat and then we can take off and go to the ocean? Okay, look, the pier is about a mile away. We can't carry all this money there. If we do get in a boat, a helicopter is going to... Why don't we just go in the boat? Why don't we go in the car? The boat, the car. Obviously, this is going nowhere. It never becomes a great scene. But if you add the theory, or not the theory, the rule of yes and, you get to see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 robbers that have just robbed a bank. Let's get in the car. Great idea. Let's go. Hey, the road's out. It's a cliff. Go over the cliff. Go over the cliff. Yeah, let's go over the cliff. Roll down the window. What? Roll down the window. He's rolling down his. Stick out your arms. Okay, you got yours out? Yeah, now flap them. And they flap to the sunset. Remember those brainstorming times when you all get in the room and someone raises their hand and says, what if? And then somebody else in the room says, yeah, we did that already, it didn't work. And another person says, well, what if we? And the other person says, yeah, we don't have a budget for that. That's really not going anywhere. And the next person starts raising their hand and says, what? And doesn't finish it because he knows he's going to get shut down. And what happens to that brainstorming session? It dies. It dies. So the next time you find yourself in a brainstorming session, do this. Listen to that person. Like, for instance, if it's that person that always says the crazy stuff, say, what exactly is he saying? Listen to every single word. Then evaluate it quickly. Find the value in what he says and then add to it. And then when you add to it and you give it out to the rest of your team, the rest of your team will whip their heads around so fast, we're talking whiplash. They'll go, what? And then they'll think, wow, that's not a bad idea. And then maybe somebody else in the room will add in, well, what if you do this? We've all been in those really good meetings. The ones that are, what if we do this? Oh, that's great, that's great. What if you do this? That's great, that's great. Those are yes and meetings. You didn't know that's what you're doing, but that's what you're doing. Don't let those brainstorming sessions turn into no buts. That's why in my speech, I have to bring up a couple of people, hopefully at least one time, to do an improv session where we can see how that yes and that team building work. I want you, the next meeting you're in, to do what? #1, listen. #2, evaluate, find the value in what they're saying. And #3, add to it. You're a genius. You're going to have great brainstormings. You're going to unleash your inner Da Vinci.